Now, research out this morning says black managers are less likely to enter professional football.
An independent report commissioned by the Black Footballers Partnership concludes they are also less likely to be promoted to senior positions like assistant manager or manager. And the findings say black managers and coaches are more likely to be sacked.
OK, to get more on that, Alex and I are joined by Delroy Coronaldi, the co-founder of the Black Footballers Partnership and former Luton Town player and coach. You've got Ricky Hill joining us as well, who part of the same organisation, trying to change things for the next generation. So from Alex and myself, a very good morning to you both.
Morning.
Morning.
Good morning, Alex. Good morning, Hannah.
Yeah. We'll kick things off then. I mean,
Good
we
morning.
heard, we heard some of the key deadlines there, Delroy, starting with you. Can you outline a bit more of your findings and I guess the research that went into it that you have now published this morning?
Again, thank you very much for inviting me on this morning. Yes, the Black Footballers Partnership is a group of former players, current players, who are concerned to get more black footballers in jobs off the pitch as well as on it. What we did is we commissioned 3 leading academics from around the world, Michigan, Amsterdam, Liverpool, to look at where the game can take some responsibility for some of the issues in the game. And what they found is where it comes to jobs in management, in coaching for black players, unfortunately, even though they've got the experience and they've got the qualifications, in a game of snakes and ladders, it's all snakes and no ladders. So in 3 areas: entry level, getting promotion when you're in a job, or being fired at the end. And most managers will get fired. They found bias in the system. So at the entry level, if you're a non-black, you're 50% more likely to get a job. In terms of getting fired, if you're black, you're 41% more likely to be out of a job very quickly compared to your non-black counterpart, and you're not going to get promoted. So it's like, if you think of it like what Mike Tyson said, right? The black players have a plan of being excellent off the pitch like they were on it, and then they got punched in the mouth when they tried to get the job, and they're unable to get those jobs.
Ricky, what was your reaction to all of this? Were you surprised by the findings?
Not particularly in respect to the numbers. I mean, we've had the sporting think tank had something came out probably a decade ago, which suggested the numbers were very similar to what they are now. I'm not surprised in respect to the fact that we have a number of initiatives that have been put in place by the Premier League with the Pledis, the FA with the Football Leadership Diversity Code, and also the EFL with the Voluntary Recruitment Code. Yet still, none of those initiatives have really changed the current landscape in respect to numbers of opportunities for racially diverse individuals.
How does it feel? I mean, you're the 4th black player to play for England, the first with South Asian heritage as well to do your badges, but unable to get on the managerial ladder after, I mean, multiple attempts.
Yeah, it's particularly frustrating. Obviously, it's been a while. It's been possibly over 3 decades since I stopped playing football, and I endeavoured to become a coach or a manager at some level, particularly within the UK. And I had aspirations to be a manager and to have a long-lasting career like everyone else who has been part of the game from a child right through. So from that perspective, it's been really frustrating to know that irrespective of how you've done in your previous opportunities that you've had, getting the qualifications, you're always told to go out and try and get yourself prepared for an opportunity. And I think a number of us have done that. I've had to go away on numerous occasions to try to hone my skills as a coach and a manager, and to come back and still find that you're somewhat invisible to the system is particularly frustrating.
Delroy, what is your message to football's key governing bodies and leagues? How much more do you want them to do, and how much have they helped you and your organisation, or have they?
I mean, first of all, I should say Ricky was one of my heroes growing up. Clearly, I'm a lot younger than Ricky. But when we looked at the data initially, When Ricky was playing, there were only very few black players, but now we've got 43% of our Premier League are black players, so 43 in every 100, 4 in every 10 almost. But when it comes to getting jobs off the pitch, they only get 4% of those jobs that go to ex-players. So it's 43 and then it slips down to 4, not against the general population, but against other footballers. So it means that in a changing room of, say, 10 people, if you're non-black, you can discount 4 out of 10 of those people in the changing room because they're not going to get a job. Imagine how that feels for that generation. And then when you look at the executive room, there's only 1% of people that look like Ricky that actually are in those positions. So for us, when we talk to the game, and we have spoken to the game, they're good people in the game. They, like us, they love the game. But unfortunately, they put a lot more emphasis on marketing initiatives and giving the impression to the outside world that things are doing well. But actually the reality on the ground isn't that. I've worked in boardrooms, I'm going to a board meeting after this, you look people in the eye, they will tell you what they're good at and what they're not good at. I think in football, there needs to be a better recognition around the people, the policies, and the procedures, and whether or not they've got all of those in place, so that they can hopefully work with us, because it's what we want to do, in partnership. And then the last thing I'll say is, today is a welcome day that we've got this government initiative on an independent regulator through the Football Governance Bill. But it is a missed opportunity that they've not looked at nearly 50% of the employees in the game, which are the black players, and thought to themselves, what more can we do to drive forward initiatives in the bill to help those people not only do well for themselves, but for the fans, because the fans want the game to grow, and so do the players. So we need to do more in that space.
There is a real worry, I guess, as well, if you are seeing no black men in these positions. You think, I'm not going to bother doing my coaching, but I'm not going to bother even trying. Why should I even try that? So I guess I want to ask Ricky, I mean, this week we've got a new generation of black players, haven't we, playing for England. They might want to dream of becoming a coach. What would you actually say to them? And do you worry now it's going to put young black footballers who are coming into retirement off doing coaching badges?
I think in respect to the putting off of doing the badges, I think once you have a passion for the game, I think irrespective of the obstacles, you will attempt to try to maintain your presence within the game. And I would ask them to ensure that they use their dreams, if that's a dream that they have, to fuel their passion, to be prepared to have their own philosophy of how they want to play, be mindful of their message in regards to the principles that they deliver, to make sure that they're consistent. And also, as you started with the dreams, never let anyone take your dream away. Let anyone douse that fire and that desire that you have to be part of the industry. And I wish them good luck in their endeavours.
Absolutely.
Dara, we obviously focus a lot on men's football, but would you say there's a similar issue with women's football?
Well, so in men's football, it's about pitch to power. So they get on the pitch, but they don't get any positions of power, the managers, the coaching and the executive jobs. In the women's game, it's about participation, pitch, power. We aren't seeing many black women come through to actually get onto the pitch and then to go into powerful positions. So no, there's more work required in that space. Fortunately for us, in the men's game, we've had some, in the men's game, we've had some support from number 5 Barristers Chambers, Erwin Mitchell. We now want support for the women's game so that we can do the research, so we can push on like they've done in the States. We want to do that over here.
And we just want to ask as well, I mean, we've got you here, Ricky. We can't leave without you having your say on Luton's first Premier League season. We've seen Nottingham Forest as well with their points deduction. I mean, Luton are now above the bottom 3. Can they survive? How do you think they're going to do this, towards the end of the season? Where are they going to end up?
Well, the positive, unfortunately for Nottingham Forest, with the deduction means that they are out of the relegation zone at this moment in time, which psychologically, with just under a quarter of the season remaining, could be a big plus for them. I'm obviously delighted for the town, for the players, for the staff, and particularly for the fans, that they're now back at the elite level. They have superb fans, and I think the fans will be crucial for the remaining games, home and away, because I know that how fervent they are. I'd like to think that they'll be able to make Kenilworth Road a hostile place, a hostile environment, an environment where a number of players would never probably experience if they come from, different parts of the world. And that alone may be able to help the players to spur them on, give them that added incentive and energy to win the games, because it's important to win as often as you can at home and see if you can pick up results on the away games. I know it's going to be close call because everyone around the bottom half is beating each other from week to week, but I'm hoping that the players will be able to have one last salvo, so to speak, and push themselves forward the remaining games, and hopefully this time next year they'll still be in the Premiership.
Yeah, absolutely. Ricky, thank you so much for coming on, and Delroy, thanks so much for coming into the studio. Really great to get your thoughts this morning on such an important subject. Thank you.
For inviting me in.